Hi, everybody. So, what do you think? Social Darwinism. It's a mess, isn't it? But it is the mess that the culture of the United States was a part of for many years. And therefore, there is so much that I can say. So, I'm going to continue to try to keep it down to just a few minutes. According to Khan Academy, eugenics from social Darwinism did not cease until the 1970s. Yes, the 1970s. And that's when I was a teenager and everything. So this wasn't that long ago. In the space of history, when you talk only about 40, 50 years, that's not very long ago. And you're only talking a couple of generations. And so it was so much in the fabric of society. When I was a kid, there was our history classes. It was like we didn't have any history. Yeah, in the 60s and in the 70s, in our regular history books, there was hardly anything in there about African Americans because social Darwinism had dictated that we just didn't matter that much. And so that's how history books were back then. Some of the young people today would be like, "What? You're kidding me?" Because they get everybody's history now. But it wasn't that way back then. It was all European and those of European descent. Every once in a while, they would mention somebody who wasn't of European descent, and it was like, oh, really? Oh, we did something, huh? In actuality, we did a lot. So um, I was blessed, though. I had a librarian at Moccasin Elementary School in Buchanan, Michigan. Her name was Miss Benjamin, and Miss Benjamin had ordered a big thing of Black History Encyclopedia, and she would share this information with me. And despite the fact that it wasn't being taught in the classroom, I was learning about all of these great African Americans in the 60s because of Miss Benjamin. So I just, thank God I had a really great librarian. And that's how I learned. I still remember that's how I learned about Harriet Tubman. And I was so excited about learning about Harriet Tubman. I had to admit, I went to the room and I was telling all the kids about her. I was like, wow. And I lied. I said I was a descendant of Harriet Tubman. Okay. You do that when you're a child. And then later on I said, well, okay, it's not quite true. So, but I just thought she was so fabulous. She was doing the impossible and all that. So, there's all of this that happened because of social Darwinism. And to think that eugenics, sterilizing people just because you think they're the wrong race, or maybe they're not smart enough and they're going to bring forth kids who are not smart and all that. The fact that, it didn't stop until the 70s. I even remember reading some newspaper articles about people who were sterilized and things like that. So there's a whole lot that goes along with social Darwinism. And so this is how we came to the 21st century. It's so interwoven in the fabric of our culture, and that people don't even realize it's there because that's all they've been taught. And they've been taught such superiority. And so if a person is just walking down the street and someone feels like they don't even have to be a police. I mean, if they're white and the person is black, and they pick a fight with the person and the person gets shot and killed, if it's an African American who gets shot and killed, it becomes a political discussion. Why? The person was innocent. They weren't doing anything. They were just walking to their home. They got attacked by someone who thought maybe they might be doing something wrong, and it's very sad. And this becomes controversial. Why? Why is it controversial? It is because of social Darwinism that has just been interwoven into our culture. And so when the Black Lives Matter movement came, people they came up against it, and well, all lives matter. However, the Black Lives Matter movement was a necessity. It was a necessity because people needed to know and people needed to hear that all lives do matter, no matter what life it is. But Black Lives Matter had to happen because it was clear that Black lives did not matter as much as other lives. And this is all a part of the social Darwinistic society that we have had through the years. There's so much more to say about this, and so much more to be more thoroughly studied. So, the next time when you see someone is shot and they weren't doing anything, they weren't harming anyone, they were walking or running down the road and, all that kind of stuff, and there's no reason why they were shot, don't get in a political argument with them. Just think about social Darwinism, how the society has gone for many decades now, over 100 years, and why this thing comes up still today. And join in with the crowd of people of all races that are coming together with Black Lives Matter movement and other movements, and just saying, you know what, every life does matter. And this kind of social Darwinistic thought, we need to get rid of it, and we need to get rid of it forever. So I'm sure one day we will talk about social Darwinism. One day I'm going to have a far more fancy show than just holding this here iPad up and all that. My nephew, he knows who he is. He's giving me all these ideals, and he's like, "Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, Auntie." So, we're gonna work on all that, and we'll get music and everything. But until then, we'll just talk about a few things, and we'll keep this up for a while, and we'll get a little more technical with the times. But in the meantime, let's all check our attitude, whether black, white, brown, yellow, red, everything. And let's just know that all lives matter. Social Darwinism is now just not even, the scientists don't even take it seriously anymore. But it's so systemic inside of the society, people are still acting upon it because it's been around for so many generations. So we need to be aware of it, and we need to let it go, and we need to treat each other right, and we need to find more tolerance. And that's what we're going to talk about next week, tolerance. And we're going to talk about a guy named William Penn. So if you want to study a little bit on what we'll talk about next week, look up William Penn and look up tolerance. Hey, love you guys. Have an awesome week. Take care and God bless.